round 8. Sorry, I already got that wrong. Let's start again. Hey everyone, and welcome to round 8 of the Torpedo League Season 1 here at the Red Austria. It's a short track, probably the shortest lap time of the calendar, I believe. But that is not only because the track is quite short, but also because it's a very high speed track. So it's longer than Monaco, but it's a lower lap time because it's a higher speed track. And this is, I'd say, a lower downforce track, but that middle sector can bite if you go too low on the wings. Everyone in their pit stops, in their pit boxes currently. Wait a second, I just need to do something.
Dear to viewers on the Twitch stream, hello, welcome everybody.
Yes, welcome everyone to the 8th round. After this, there's just 3 more. Am I right with that one? 9, 8, no, 4 more. 4 more after this one. 4 more after this one. See, quarantine's really been hurting my maths skills. Not that there's much there to begin with, but... Anyway, so cars begin to come out of the pit lane now. Looks like Bunnies is the first one out on track in the Alfa Romeo. Currently heading up the hill. And for the purposes of today, we will be using the official corner numbers. So the one that a lot of people regard as turn 2 will be turn 3, because I prefer to go with the official ones. So technically turn 2 is the slight curve of the straight, which isn't it's not a corner. They were desperate to have corners because there's only 9 corners on the circuit. They just needed to make everything a corner. As Bunny's first one to go into this tricky middle sector. Very easy to go wide and get your lap time invalidated through there. Let's get tyres fitted on, and Kimi has left. That is a shame. Hopefully he can get back in.
Oh dear.
But, you know, the take control function, Kimi is one of the drivers who does understand that. Hopefully you can get that sorted out, as Bunnies will be the first driver to start their flying lap, and he crosses the start-finish straight and makes his way towards the steep turn 1. I mean, I don't understand how he hasn't invalidated his lap time there. He's gone very wide. But maybe he's lifted off a bit to ensure it wasn't invalidated. Heading up into turn 3. Locking the inside front there. Force him to go a little bit wider. Missed the apex slightly. 15.5 minutes left of this session.
Well, yeah, the first thing. There was 3 DRS zones in this track.
Yes,
very quick.
Should lead to good overtaking. Most overtaking will take place into turns 3 and 4, because turn 1's relatively hot. It's relatively medium speed, and there's not much of a straight before it. So you'd have to be much quicker than the car in front to be able to go for a move into there. And even if you are quicker, I'd recommend waiting for the next corner, as it's a longer straight, so you got more chance of not losing your front wing. As the lap time's coming in, Kyle with a 1:05. That is very, very quick. That is outstanding. As no one's able to come near.
Nobody. What is these times? A 1:05.
I was not expecting.
Still Kyle up there.
We're gonna get into the 1:04s, because look, Branny's up into second, and usually there's like James and that who go a bit quicker. As we have a yellow flag, Toro Rosso going slowly. Let's have a look at Let's have a look at one of our I'd say favourites.
1:04.7 for James,
the championship leader and favourite for the championship. Just a couple of updates. Barabombasaur has changed his name between races to Codzilla.
That's a 1:04.6 for
Jarno. That's very good.
So McKee Allen, I'm not giving you moderation.
So yeah. Qualifying is usually quite close in this league. As the drivers are currently proving, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 drivers all in the 1:05s, and that's with 5 drivers yet to set a lap, and Kimi out of the session. Hopefully he'll be able to rejoin for the race, but don't know at this point in time. So you have a yellow flag. That's just cars going slowly to look from what I can see there. as cars finishing their first run now and heading back to the pit lane to get a fresh set of tyres, refuel, and get ready for their next lap. Jarno's still out there though. Looks like he's just going a bit slower, just giving his tyres a chance to cool down.
Oh dear. Apparently Thomas's AI just crashed into Fair.
Well, that's not great.
No.
Looking at the field, some changes, some things that I've just been looking at, is that we do have a lack of top drivers in this race. Although Colpo hasn't set a lap time, so he's missing from the top. Usually we have Kimi and Colpo to make that 4, and then with Kerek, who has quit the league after last race, despite the reason for him quitting now not being a factor, which is, of course, the big news that for this race, a safety car will be on. So expect some carnage. It was on for the F2 race earlier today, in which myself and Owen participated in. And we only had a virtual safety car in both races. Only one, and it was in the feature race. With the sprint race being a bit shorter, it sort of has to be an early collision that causes it. Surprised we didn't see a safety car in the first race, but if you want to find out why, head over on Twitch to Ginger Thomas 9, and he's had the race streamed. And I don't think there's any commentary, but you can get an idea of what happened in turn 1. I'll give you a hint. Well, it's actually turn 2. It was around Russia at turn 2, and there was a massive crash, in which Owen was involved. But we won't go into that.
No.
Currently, no viewers on YouTube. How many viewers have we got on Twitch at the moment?
Oh, apparently rain in 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, so you want to get your laps in now? Although there is only 11 minutes left, so I doubt it. It's only going to affect those that like to go for a last dash. Which I'm one of the drivers that likes to go for a dash, sort of right at the end of the session. But that may not be possible if it's raining.
It will be a dry race though, from Intel.
Secret intel, as that is Kyle going very wide at turn 1, and he's invalidated his lap time shockingly. Cars in the pit lane, there is Manu, Nerazuro, C1, Reese, Fairs, and Thomas has just left the pits, I believe.
We go, James going into his lap. Can he set a faster one than a 104.7? McKay, I am not giving you moderation. I'm sorry, but no, I don't care if your mother shuts down your internet. Oh, and it's a purple. There's a lot of traffic out.
And there's what's going on there with the Reese and the racing points? So let's have a look here.
No.
Reese looks like he may be holding some people up a little bit. Well, they're both very.
Sector 2.
Reese has spun. Whoa, nearly hit one of the Alfa Romeos there.
This is going to be quick from James.
Oh, a little ways it is. Through the penultimate corner. Staying within track limits. And right on the limit there.
Go on. And it's a 104.5 from James.
Very quick lap.
Oh.
That is that's about 3 seconds ahead of the bottom car that has set a competitive lap time, which is Reese. Yeah, as Colpo able to join that front group now? As I think this could be a race for maybe a shock podium. Don't know about you, I've got a feeling. Like we had in Russia with Thomas's podium, I think we may have, because we only have 3 top drivers at the front of the field. All it takes is for one of them to be caught out in some sort of incident for everything to go wild. Will we see James take his 6th consecutive win for Mercedes today? Who knows? I don't know. What do you think, Owen?
Oh, and there's a massive crash! Massive crash! Who's
What's
that?
happened there?
That's so Reese has crashed. I don't know what happened to Reese, but he was just in the middle of the track, and Jarno had nowhere to go, and he smacked right into him. We may need to. I don't know what happened. That is massive.
And not only massive.
We may need to give
when
I don't know.
it depends if Reese could do nothing. If his result of his, I mean, I don't understand how you crash on the entrance into turn 3. That was
I
like
don't know if he like slipped or what. I
the
have
only
no
way you can
clue.
crash into turn 3 is by being stupid and ending up on the grass somehow. And he's
Oh,
on straight
and
on with wing damage. That could be a penalty for Reese though if it is proved that if there is an onboard from Jarno of what happened. Yeah, that is. I think I hate to say it, but I think that's sealed who our pole sitter is going to be, unless Colpo can find a couple tenths of a second. I think Colpo might be able to get second, but I feel like Jarno was the closest. Jarno was the guy that could have mixed it up there.
Yeah.
To be fair, Kyle, I've been forgetting about Kyle. Kyle is actually quite quick, although in the last couple of races has dropped off a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure you won't mind me saying that.
Yep.
Spain certainly wasn't his favourite track,
No.
as he proved, retiring in the early stages. However, unlike his teammate, he did actually retire the car, which, for any drivers that are currently watching this, please, if you wish to leave, retire the car first, because we don't want AI driving around the circuit. Speaking of retiring, Kyle has retired from the session. And is that a crash? Which racing point is that coming up the hill? It's Nerazzurro.
Yep, that is a crash, I think.
How is that the second car that we've had crash up there? I've missed it again now, as it's the other Haas that you can now see it from. There we go. And how has he crashed it there?
I have no clue. Oh, he crashed on purpose.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
I'll time him out. 13, let's go. Time out.
Looking at the whole field now. The field covered by about 3.2 seconds. Within a second of pole position is the top 10. Whoa. Codzilla really, really showing himself in these last couple of races. Only 1 point to his name. However, in the last race, he was up fighting in solid for a good amount of points before he spun, and this time he's qualified 10th. But as a lot of the races have proved, it's very rare that the top 10 stay the top 10. Lots of drivers drop out. Lots of drivers look Mikis down in 11th place. He's scored quite a lot of points this season. He's proved himself to be around about where Thomas is at the moment. And yet he's in 11th, which just shows how close that mid-pack is. It's just only 3 milliseconds ahead of Josh currently. And only 1 millisecond between Bunnies and Forever Sin. It's amazing how close this field is. And 100th between Manu and Branu. It's just shocking how close this is.
Very close. It's not even 100th between Branny and... Oh, James with a 104.3! Even faster! Colpo's got a purple sector 2. Can he do it? Can he get that second? Or can he even challenge for first?
As Colpo.
Oh no, he's gone into the pits.
I think he knows that he'll only get another run if he pits now. He can't push it another lap before pitting. So I think Colpo's done the right thing. I think that's the last lap we'll see from James, although the sky, I don't know about you, the sky's just gone quite dark. I think rain could be on its way.
Yep.
I'm
it did say to the last bit of qualifying it was going to rain.
It should only be about the last minute, but let's see. I'm going to stay on board with James for a couple of corners just to see if I can see any rain coming down. Currently there is not any rain. Let's have a look at the Racing Point duo who are quite near on track. Both of these guys have proved they're very quick throughout this season, and although an early championship, Constructors' Championship Challenge looks to have fallen away after Mercedes begun their domination. Russia, I feel like Russia was the last time any other team had a shot at topping a championship.
James has gone into the pits. Is he going to try and do the same with Colpo?
Let's see. As Colpo's still in the pit lane, they're waiting now. Just, I think they may be right. It's that sky is getting darker and darker, in my opinion. If you want to set another lap, you've got to go now. Surely you've got to go now.
I'm going Nerazzurro.
Because the track, and that's a yellow flag, that's a Renault. And it is the Renault of Fairs, who looks like they're just backing off slightly, just backing off, preparing themselves for a lap.
Honest. Oh, and Thomas has set a 104.9.
Whoa, what a lap from Thomas.
Putting him up on 4th.
That there That is why Mercedes are leading the Constructors' Championship. As Codzilla is that? Oh no, that is Branny, who is off as Manu retires. Is Branny, who has spun and is now blocking the racetrack. Luckily, no one is coming at the moment. That is his teammate who will be next to come past, so you don't want to block them.
I say Codzilla's came up to 7th with a 105.
What? This has got to be our closest grid, other than James. This has got to be our closest grid of the season so far. As all Branny's round again, his tyres must be on fire.
Yeah.
They must be quite hot. As please, if anyone is watching on YouTube or Twitch, please say hi in the comments so that we know you're there.
Oh.
As Branny disqualified, blocking the pit lane. As I think it's fair to say it's been a controversial session. But it's not over yet. The skies may be getting darker, but it's looking like there may be enough time for one more lap.
No, Zeus, oh, Fairs was a 104.
Fairs!
High
Up to second place!
No, Zeus gained a place of 104.9.
That's just, how many cars are in the 104s now? The top 6 are all in the 104s. Kyle's just outside. Within a second of pole position, it is still the top 10, as it's just for tyres. As there's still no rain just yet. Could this sun falling away and the clouds coming over, it may not cause rain, but could it cause the track conditions to cool down a bit, which increases the track speed? As Mick retires now. Drivers will start to retire once they know they can't set another lap that's quick.
Oh, but for the Mercedes coming out of the pits, will they be able to squeeze one more lap out?
I don't think so. Oh, it's going to be close. It's going to be tight. They're going to have to go flat out now. Yeah. This is going to be the race. This is going to be the race to watch. Will the Mercedes be anyone coming out of the pits now? No chance. I'm sorry, no chance. Anyone that is... So, Colpo's currently on track. Let's just list some of the people who have got a shot now. They are James, Colpo, Thomas, Forever Sin, Bunnies, C1 and Reese. A lot of the bottom guys seem to be out, ready to go. As it looks like C1 slowing down. Yeah, getting ready to start his lap.
Oh, I don't know if Thomas is going to be able to get it.
There's no way.
He's going a bit slow. He's going slow. Why is he doing it?
He came out of the pits with an... Thomas, why are you going slowly? Why would you do this?
You need to go! You need to go!
He can't do it. Not enough time. That's him out.
No.
I think both Mercedes. I think it's James is the one to watch now. There's no way Thomas is going to do it. If Thomas does this, I will be so surprised. I mean, I think he might. I think he might. James is going to do it with a few seconds spare. Thomas, where's the line? There's the line. 3, 2, 1, 0. He's done it. Has he done? He's done it. He's done it to the millisecond. To the millisecond. Oh, that was outstanding there.
Now if he gets an amazing lap here and maybe come into the podium.
If he wins it now,
be amazing.
Biggest anticlimax of the season.
He gets a PB per sector 1.
And that was a quick lap last time. As that is Toro Rosso of Forever Sin, who has crashed.
Apparently, actually, Thomas had 30 seconds left. What?
Well, the time we're seeing, I'm guessing, is correct, so...
Yeah, I don't know. That's what Kyle says. You must be 30 seconds behind or something.
Oh, gone round. That is Forever Sin at the final corner going round. Reese coming through now to set a lap. Reese coming across the line now. Not able to improve.
It's slightly better, but not
Bunnies
enough.
goes up into 13th place. Now it's the Mercedes. James. Whoa. Thomas up to 5th.
Oh, up to 5th, gains 1 place.
Okay, for a second here. Let's ignore James's speed. From Fairs, within a second of Fairs, is still actually the same gap. Let's have a look. It is 1/10 back to cover the top. From 2nd to 3rd, then a few tenths back, then another 2 tenths, well 3 tenths covers, 3 tenths covers 5th to about 10th. That is the craziest qualifying session I've seen on the F1 2019 game. And let's hope that continues into the race.
This is mad.
Oh. as that is qualifying coming to a close.
There you go. Just go screenshot all of these. There we
So,
go.
Owen, run us through the order.
So, first is James, second is Fairs, third Colpo, fourth Jarno, fifth Thomas, sixth Nevazu, seventh Kyle, eighth Godzilla, ninth Manu, 10th Mickey's. Is it incredible? Within a second, there's 10 people across the line.
And that's
just in net after that. It's just incredible.
It is outstanding, the driving standards of these guys. Will they make us think differently after the race, though? Will we come out of the race going, these guys...
put in the chat, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, boomer.
But that definitely was an exciting qualifying session, as we now wait for the drivers to go to the grid. As I've found out why Thomas has found a sudden upturn in form. That is because he's actually now driving on a controller, which usually isn't quicker. But he always uses his teammate's setup. His teammate is for a controller. That's how. By the way, James dominating the season on a controller, I'm fairly sure, which is outstanding.
I'm pretty sure he has a wheel. I'm not 100% sure. But
well, Thomas uses James's setups, and James's setups are for a controller. As formation lap begins, our driver's going to go. Looks like they are. Here we go for the formation lap. So, for one final time before lights out, Owen, run us through the order.
So we have James up in first. Is he gonna get number 1 again? We don't need telemetry. He's had an incredible season so far. Second is Fairs, which is a massive surprise, to be honest. He normally qualifies from 5th to 10th or something.
As we have a pile up, by the way, further back down in the field on the formation lap. Just thought I'd let everyone know of that. Don't know what's happened there. Everyone
Joshua.
Let's see who's the first. I think it was caused by the run out of well, not necessarily caused, but he looks like one of the guys who was at the front of it. As that is the racing point of Manu going slowly now, as he's really backing the field up there.
Yep.
As it seems people, I think Manu's trying to get a gap so he can go a bit quicker, and people are reluctant to pass him. So as they all go flying past now, I don't know what he's doing. But just quick question before we go green. Who is your prediction? What's your podium prediction?
Podium? To be honest, I think James is going to do it again. I think he's going to win it.
Smart choice.
I reckon he's going to be number 1. Jarno might be a surprise, maybe. He might come up. I reckon he's going to come second, and I think Colpo third. I think Fairs might drop down, maybe. I don't know.
I actually think we are going to have a surprise. Something's going to happen. And I'm going to go mad here. And I am going to back... I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm backing Fairs for the win. I don't know what it is. It's just that upturn in performance in qualifying. I feel like this is a good track for him. And remember, Silverstone, Fairs charged through the order. So, let's get ready.
One of my comments saying, Forever Certain saying Fairs is a good call. Underdog, yes, he is definitely the underdog here.
And starting second, as we are back of the field are lining up now to the grid.
Yeah, here's the final one just coming up now.
Let's go to the front as that is C1 and
Thomas saying,
Lucas.
what about me?
As we go to 5 red lights. As we've had a glitch start. What is going on? As the start procedure. Owen, what is going on? And it's there we go.
And off we go.
And
is there going to be a turn 1 crash? Running with an amazing start.
There it is, Toro Rosso round, Red Bull round, massive crash in the background. as Freverson drops the back virtual safety car before they made it through the first corner. As it's wheels as Fares just able to keep that second position off the start under virtual safety car. Although Colpo has just passed him under virtual safety car, but I think that's just a bit of going backwards and forwards.
This is actually quite good for James to just try and get an early lead, maybe. Just staying under Delta pace, but
I'll watch a replay of the start. And at the Toro Rosso, let me just try and work out which one it was. It was one of the Toro Rossos dove into turn 1. I believe it was Freverson who did it.
Yeah.
Freverson launched it into turn 1. I'm sorry if it's Josh, but one of the they were side by side, and one of them launched it into turn 1, and went full wide, and that sort of that bunching up just caused absolute mayhem. As the virtual safety car does now come to a close, and we are back underway as we actually start lap 2. Perfect timing. It's like we're having a safety car start. That's what it's like.
Yeah. Granny with 7 positions gained.
Wheel to wheel for 5th place between Thomas and Jarno. Jarno on the inside. Will he dive for it? As Jarno up the inside, he sent it. He's pushed Thomas a bit wide and has got the position. Now it is Kyle who is wheel to wheel with Thomas, but Thomas wants to fight back with Jarno and he's going for it. He's got the run. Could we see 3 wide into here? Kyle looks like he's just a little bit too far back. Thomas on the outside backs out of it there. Not quite close enough to do it. As Kyle unable to find a gap past Thomas through this tight and twisty section of the track. Meanwhile at the front, everyone's got a little bit of a gap, only, well, about half a second between all of them. As they head through the final 2 corners. As that is Kyle still all over the back of Thomas. And I think Kyle's going to be one to watch here.
Bez for the fastest lap of 1:08.
As DRS is now enabled.
Not Josh.
As Kyle has lost the place to Josh, yeah. Got a great battle here.
I think he was a bit dodgy from Josh. I was on board with Kyle. I'm pretty sure he corner cut. But
Manu,
did he get the warning?
Looking to the inside, the backs out of it. Not Kyle. Will he fight back here?
Josh did get an exceeding track limit, so.
Well, you know, it's simple. It's just if you get 3 of them, then that's it.
Yep.
Kyle not quite close enough. It's a very tight and twisty section of the lap. You just want to stay closer here as he does run a little bit wide there. As the field bunching up, seems like it seems to me that there seems to be a top group. There's sort of the top 4, and then there's the next group of cars. As Josh round at the penultimate corner.
Oh no!
And he's crashed into the pit entrance.
James with a 107.7.
As I think the battle now to watch is between Colpo and Fares. As quite a lot of penalties coming in out of turn 1 there. Colpo not close enough to do anything. Ooh, quite close to the back then.
There you go, yes, got DRS on James.
Looked to me, Colpo opened his DRS a bit late there. As, could this be, and I may be about to jinx this, but for the first time this season, could we have a fight for the win? Fares isn't doing the usual drop back. James isn't pulling away like he usually does. But we didn't actually speak about it and I can actually confirm everyone apart from Mikis, who pitted on the virtual safety car, is on the soft tyres.
Yep.
Oh, and Bonnie's
I did
also,
actually notice
and Browning was
in qualifying that everyone did qualify on softs. There's no mediums now.
It's an easy one stop here. And I don't know what it is. Maybe when the strategy isn't a part of it, James just isn't able to get that gap. It doesn't really make sense to me. But anyone that is watching this, please let us know. Who do you think is going to win? Is it going to be the expected winner? I think the favourite, James, or could we see a first-time winner? The only other driver in the series to win a race is Kyle, and he's currently down in 7th. So Doubt he'll be able to get a race win here, as it is so close to the top 3. Colpo all over the back of the Fairs. Colpo's quicker than Fairs. It looks to me that Fairs may be quicker or the same pace as James. I think if Colpo can get past Fairs, then I think Colpo's on for the win. The fact that Fairs is defending from Colpo and able to keep within DRS of James is crucial. The second anyone drops out of James's DRS, that's it. Goodbye. Yeah. James is gone. But they have got a 2.6 second gap now to Nerazzurro, who's just got over a 1 second gap to Jarno behind.
I ordered a 3 second time penalty.
As you have, Reese has crashed in the midfield, and he's crashed with It's Just.
Yeah.
Back to the front here. Look at this, Colpo. Surely he's got the run here, up towards turn 3. He's right on the back of Fairs. And tiny bit of contact there. I doubt any damage was done. So close as they now head down to on their way to turn 4 as Josh in the pits. You'd have to guess maybe some damage. I think that's probably damage from when he spun earlier on, as the leader's about half a sector away from lapping cars already. And I know some cars are pit, but that's massive. As Colpo, you can see how much quicker he is through here from this sort of above shot. And you can also see that Fairs is dropping back slightly. 8/10 gap now. This is exactly what James needed. He needed a gap.
Marnie with the 3 second time penalty, multiple warning.
Fairs caught up a tiny bit there. Looks like he's dropping back. I think Fairs' car might be better at top speed. As that is one of the Toro Rossos of Josh around at turn 4.
Oh dear.
And is losing a couple of positions there.
There,
Colpo.
Switch back for Fairs.
Colpo tried it there.
But Fairs isn't in the DRS anymore, of James.
As that is the Toro Rosso of Josh who's gone round again. The leaders are about to lap Josh if he doesn't get going again. And Josh currently is outside of the bottom 3.
And he spun it. He spun it, Josh.
And the first lap car of the race is Josh. Not something you want to be.
Lap 7.
Yeah. And the leaders are quite close to Bunnies now.
Fairs with a 3 second time penalty. That is massive.
And
he just hopes that Colpo gets it. Ginger Toast has a 3 second time penalty as well.
This track is quite easy to go wide on, as we've seen by the amount of penalties that have been given out. As Josh retires. No safety car though. This track is very easy to run wide on. It's not got walls at the side of the circuit. They're relatively, there's curbs that the curbs at this track you can use them. You can push them to gain time. So I think we're going to see a lot of penalties here. Definitely. As it is 2/10 back now between Colpo and Fairs. You can see they're so close. Meanwhile, Jarno's made his way up to 4th place now. Can't even get further up the field than that. As that is Bunny's off. Oh no, yeah, it is Bunny. Driver to be lapped in this race. The leaders are right behind him now.
Blue flag, blue flag.
Indeed, blue flags. As Thomas is passed, now it's Fairs defending from Colpo, as Bunny's losing his rear end a bit there, as that is a Red Bull of Jarno. Jarno's dropped down the order. What has happened there for Jarno? He's got dirt on his tyres, so you might have to assume that he's gone over the gravel.
Yep.
And he has lost the 4th place. He's lost 4 positions to drop down the order.
Fairs was another 3 second time penalty. Oh no, what has happened?
Every 3 second time penalty, he loses more and more chance of winning this race.
Yep.
The more penalties you get, the less hope you have, therefore the harder you drive, and the less safe you drive. And because of that, more and more chance that Fairs may actually catch James, but get not quite able to do it. As all Colpo lost traction there and he's dropping back. As Fairs outside of the DRS now. That's through these corners. I want to see, does Fairs catch or drop back? He catches. So actually, I've changed my mind. I
Okay.
think it's a cornering setup for Fairs and a top speed. And yeah, he's dropping back down the straight and gaining through the corners, which is why it's even more crucial to stay in the DRS, as Colpo looks to be struggling a bit. As Manu on the back of Thomas, and Branny on the back of Reese, as they're wheel to wheel, and Branny around the outside, and Reese trying to keep it in there. Oh, there's contact. Branny a bit off there, lost a bit of traction. And again, what has happened to Branny? He has dropped down the order. As Manu gets past Thomas for 5th place. Thomas is going to want to fight back. He'll get the DRS down the next straight. Almost as was their contact there. Thomas may have just hit him. As they're now side by side heading towards turn 4. Who's going to come out in the lead? And Thomas is ahead now. Thomas back ahead of Manu into turn 4. As the leaders are staying close but not able to really make any moves. Branny all over the back of Reese again now. For 12th place this is. Branny heading to the outside. Towards through turn 2 and into turn 3. Branny straight past. No battle there from Reese. Looks like he knew he had lost that position. As Manu is all the way on the back of Thomas at the moment.
Kyle with a 3-second time penalty.
And Kyle is right behind that battle. He may be able to get in that battle as Manu or looks to it, but not quite able to pull it off. As they now head on their way towards turns 2 and 3.
And Faz is right behind James now. He's caught a lot. Is he going to go for the overtake? He's not quite there yet.
As they're wheel to wheel for 5th place.
Looks like next lap, Fez will get that first if he takes these few sectors right.
Thomas around the outside of Manu. Manu on the inside. Oh, Manu pushes him off. And that has allowed Kyle to get past. Will he maybe even get past Manu as well? Kyle not quite able to do it there. Not a good overtaking point in the lap here. It's very hard to overtake. The medium to high speed corners, sort of the nature of these corners, mean it is very hard not only to get alongside, but then to pull it off and straight past. Proving me completely wrong there, and Manu getting actually a penalty.
With a 3-second time penalty.
Thomas into the pits at the end of lap 10. 11, sorry. As Fairs looks like Fairs is so close to the back of James. Fairs not quite able to go for it. He's right on the back, surely now. Oh, but Colpo's even closer. This is insanity, how close is Colpo. Heading towards turn 2. Turn 4, sorry. To the outside, not able to pull it off. Trying to go for the switchback. James covers it. And there's nothing he can do there. As James maintains the race lead. Branny on the back of Forever Sin now, trying to go around the outside for 10th place. Oh, backed out there. I think he assumed Forever Sin wasn't going to give him the room, and that was correct, because he wouldn't have. As we have a yellow flag in sector 2 and 3. Looks like that may have been one of the racing points with a bit of an issue.
And James has got into the pits.
And that is Fairs in the lead of the race now. As Colpo pits too.
Is also pit.
This is the lap of Fairs' life now. He needs to go quick.
And he spun it! He spun it round turn 1!
I don't believe it.
He's reset the track as well! That is an immediate 10-second penalty.
Fairs,
oh,
no. I backed you for the win and you've done... I can't believe you've done that.
I can't believe you've done this.
Not only have you spun it, you've then given yourself a 10-second time penalty. Which
I've definitely put it in the info chat. On Instagram, I'll just double check now.
That's just stupid. Utterly stupid. As Nerasuro on the back of Fez now. Nerasuro wants to maybe get himself a shot at the podium. Battling behind, Branny up into 10th place. C1 fights it back though. As that is Forever Sin trying to get involved. C1 there is actually fighting for his spot in F1 next season. As Forever Sin goes deep. Because C1 is currently in the drop-off area. and if he doesn't get out of it, then he will be dropping down into the F2 season next season.
I may have done an oopsies.
What?
I didn't put it in the info chat.
For God's sake. As Fairs now pits, unsurprisingly, James leads the race. Colpo second, Fairs into third. Will Thomas be able to get Fairs and Nerazzurro? It's not quite close enough there with James, for Thomas. What are you going to do about the penalty for Fairs then? I mean, the spin I think was enough of a penalty. But the fact that he reset the track, if you didn't put it, then there's nothing we can do. So,
Well,
Fairs...
I swear I put it in the normal chat and I swear everyone saw it.
Well, given the penalty, if he complains that he didn't see it, then he complains he didn't see it. Then, as Nerazzurro all over the back of Fairs, I think leave it again for this race. Make sure it's in there for next race. Because Fairs has already dropped out of the shot for the lead, so... And he's 10 seconds off, which is technically a 10-second time penalty. Although, that does not mean in future when it is in the info chat for any drivers watching, that if you lost 10 seconds, that you don't get the penalty, you get the point penalty either way. As Thomas on the back of Manu, and he has a 3-second time penalty, another one. Sure, that's not his first of the race. And he's much quicker. All over the back of Manu now. As this is James, who has been not really a front runner for this season. Now currently fighting with some of the top guys. He's all over the back of Manu. And in the slipstream, surely that's the position done. Look, he was attached to the gearbox of Manu's car. As Manu squeezes him a lot there. Thomas trying it around the outside. And Thomas stays on track. He's got the outside line and he's not quite able to do it. I think you really need that inside line if you want to have a good chance of an overtake. The outside, it's not always the greatest. As Kyle now all over the back of Thomas. As that is one of the Alfa Romeos of Bunnies who has spun it, looks like, on the pit entry. And James starting to get a bit of a gap to Colpo. As Fairs up into third place around the outside there of Nerazzurro. Nerazzurro is going to want to fight it back up the hill now. In the slipstream. He's going to go left, he goes to the right. Dives up the inside. And brakes way too late and loses the position. And Fairs has the DRS. Meanwhile, it's wheel to wheel for 5th place. Thomas ahead. Will Nerazzurro go up the inside? No, not close enough. Kyle now is going to want to get past... Oh, Manu, sorry, not Nerazzurro. Kyle is going to want to get past Manu now. Thomas up into 5th place, doing a great job for the Mercedes team. I'm starting to think Thomas, maybe, just maybe, could start to, in the late part of this season, in the championship standings, pull away from the midfield. And perhaps be able to catch... Not necessarily pass, but maybe catch on to the back of the top front runners. Which is entirely possible, although Manu is now all over the back of him. And Kyle wants to get involved here. But the fact that he's racing with Manu and Kyle, as Kyle sends it up the inside. Thomas wide, what happened there? He broke, it seemed like he broke earlier and went deep on the brakes. Maybe there's an issue there. To the left-hand side of Kyle. For 6th place this is now. And Thomas forced out and not able to get the position. And he doesn't have DRS. Oh, he does have DRS there. Jarno behind, catching this battle as Branny in the pits drops down the order. As that is Colpo. That looks like Colpo had a mistake. Yep, and he's 5 seconds off the lead now. As Fairs and Nerazzurro wheel to wheel through this part of the track. Surely as wheel to wheel. Oh, Fairs ahead of Nerazzurro. Will Nerazzurro fight back? He's going to go to the outside. Not quite able to do it. No DRS through that part of the track, as we now have 4 cars in a battle here for 5th place. Jarno watches on. Is battling Thomas and Kyle. They're very close. If they don't go for a move into turn 1, it will be into turn 3. As almost contact, those guys are so close, those guys. As Kyle to the right hand side of the track. Thomas to the left, as we have a yellow flag up ahead, and it is one of the Toro Rossos. Manu defends as Giano right up to the back of this battle. Kyle still on the right hand side, Thomas still on the left. Nerezuro has been able to get up into 3rd place. As Kyle up into 6th, but Thomas goes a bit deep. And he's going to lose the position there to Jarno, surely. Jarno on the softer tyres. Oh, bit of contact there. Thomas forced to the left-hand side of the track. And drops down to 8th place now. Just as I was saying, Thomas in 5th, doing a great job for Mercedes. And that he could maybe get into the bottom of the top drivers. He's proved me wrong by dropping down to 8th place, which is his usual spot. Sort of midfield. And he gets a penalty just to really hammer it in. As Fez all over the back of Nerezuro for the podium place. The left hand side of the track. Gets it before the braking zone. Well, under braking, gets the overtake. And down towards turn 4 now. Can Nerezuro fight back? Not quite able to, just that little bit too far back. And I believe Fez had the DRS there. As he is on the back of C1, the lapped car. As was there maybe a little bit of contact there, maybe not. As Kyle all over the back of Manu through this middle sector. Into the 3rd sector now. Very hard to overtake, not impossible, as Jarno is proving it right by being right on the back of these two. Thomas has dropped to 2.3 seconds behind this battle now. As for the first race of the season, I think it's fair to say, the first race of the season, since James has really begun his true domination. Maybe Australia Colpo led a lot of that. But since we've sort of identified James as this dominating driver, this is the first race that he's been challenged to the win. And it's shown why he is a 5-time consecutive race winner. As Jarno passes Kyle there up into 6th place on the back of Manu now. And he's proved why he is a 5-time race winner in this series consecutively. And that's because whilst his rivals were making errors, as Jarno to the inside, whilst his rivals were making errors, he was just driving cleanly and getting a gap and just being able to pull away. That's how he's making a gap. It's not raw pace, it's just not making the mistakes. Culpa and Fez in this race were quick enough to win it. And they messed up. This was it wasn't James's race. This race was not his to lose. Yeah, he still managed to win it. Jarno now ahead of Manu. Jarno leading this train of cars and is going to want to catch up to the drivers in front. As that is a Ferrari of Codzilla. From 9th place, he made an error. Looks like he's still in the points there, and his rivals behind got a bit of a gap, so it does look all good. But certainly he's close. As there is a change of position for Nerezuro and Fez. Nerezuro back up into 3rd place. This is going to be a race-long battle, I'm sure. As now Jarno staying in that 5th place, getting that gap, trying to pull away, but with the gaps as small as they are, I feel that's going to be impossible. As the lap car C1 in that battle at the moment. Looks like he's dropped back behind Kyle now. A lot of these big teams that are winning, well, for example, Mercedes, Racing Point, and Red Bull as well, they all seem to have 2 drivers that are, one that tends to be a bit quicker, and one that seems to be a bit slower. But looking at the Racing Point team, actually, Manu and Nerezuro, it seems like they're swapping positions each race. It is impossible to sort of follow which one's the quicker one. I think Manu's ahead in the championship, but Nero is the one that's ahead in this race. So, as it strikes me now, as the battle in this group of cars here is settling down slightly. Fares dropping back off the back of Nero. It seems the field is split in what tyres they chose to move to. Some have pitted slightly earlier and went to the hards, and most have pitted onto the mediums. I don't understand why you wouldn't pit onto the mediums, because it seems fairly simple and easy to pull off that strategy. As Fares on the back of Nero now, heading up towards turn 2 and turn 3. He's got the DRS, he's in the slipstream. As he pulls out to the left hand side of the track, Nero defending the inside. Nero able to just keep his nose in there, side by side coming out. And who will have the DRS is Nero with the DRS, and they're side by side, and that is Nero pulling ahead. But with Fares in the slipstream, will he be able to go for the move? Not quite able to find a gap that you need. Not able to have that meter or so that he could find. So, drops back and stays behind in 4th place. Battling currently for 14th place between Forever Sin and C1. These lapped cars here. I believe they're actually about to be lapped by the race leader. As C1 remains ahead. Forever Sin on a 1 lap fresher tyres. Will he go for the move? And it looks like he's going to go for the move. He's on the inside line now when he backs out there. Smartly backs out. That isn't going to be an overtaking zone. As they both go very wide out of that corner. Forever Sin has the DRS. C1 defends the inside of both of these guys. I hate to say it, but you can really see the difference in racing between the top guys and the bottom guys. Nero is getting back ahead there.
Nero with the switchback of dreams.
Fares diving it up the inside. Oh, maybe a little bit of contact there with the front wing. Doesn't look like any visible damage, but there may be a bit of minor damage to the front wing. As they're now heading wheel to wheel through sector 2, the tight high speed sector. Now through into sector 3. Oh, Nero bit tighter to the apex, able to maybe get a bit more of a run through that sector of the track. All over the back as Cole Grosso with a 3-second time penalty. All over the back of Fares, not quite able to find a gap though. Forever Sin still behind C1 as they head through here now. Just looking at the mini-map, is that... No, it isn't. That's Thomas there. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the positions at the moment of where everyone is on track. As Nero has the slipstream, has the DRS open. Not quite able to go for the move though. Fares still ahead. Forever Sin catching up to the back of C1 again. Let's go to the battle here between Forever Sin and C1. And Forever Sin catching, but doesn't seem like he's quite able to pull off the move as they get lapped there by Thomas in 8th place, who at one point was running 5th and was having a great race. And now, as that's Forever Sin, who is dropping back now. And that looks like that it could be the end of their battle. But yeah, Thomas's race definitely has gone from a good race to a miserable race. As there is Fares at 3-second time penalty. Not very good for him.
Apparently Thomas in the chat is saying that he's going to retire. And he's going to retire.
But why?
Because of his thumb apparently.
As Thomas retires his car.
He was having a good race.
Yep. But it looks like there was a reliability issue on that Mercedes that has caused him to pull over and pull out of this race. Meanwhile, Kyle all over the back of Manu now.
Yep. Manu trying to defend the 6th position.
That brings Branny up into the points now. It's maybe in a more of a surprising position that usually isn't in the points, and that would be Codzilla, as that's Kyle in the pits. Is that for... Well, he's got a gap behind him, so he's going for fastest lap, you'd have to assume. So, Kyle going for one last attempt of fastest lap. He's got a good enough gap behind him. He's going onto the medium tyres, interestingly. You'd have to assume that he does not have any more soft tyres left. 30-second gap behind. A couple lapped cars going to get back through, but that shouldn't affect him. Nerazuro on the back of Fairs, but Fairs still have a penalty. Out of interest, Owen. Who, in this battle for third, what penalties are there?
Penalties. I think Fairs has got quite a few now. I'll just double check now. So Fairs and Nerazuru. There's one warning for him. Warning. And Fairs. Just checking now. Fairs got 3 seconds. I think he's got 2. 3.
As it's like Yano out of the pits, just in, no, that is the lap car of Mikis, who's also pitted for fresh rubber. He's gone onto the softs though. As that has a crash, looks like on the pit entrance there by Forever Sin. And is now going to attempt to reverse back to the pit entrance.
Got 12 seconds, Fairs has. I'm just checking on Nerazuru now.
Interesting.
And that's Nerazuru spun. I think there was contact. There was. I think there was contact.
As the front wing is still there, so it looks like it's going to affect his race too much, but he does drop behind his teammate. And Kyle, that is the thing about pitting onto the softer tyres. Even if you have the gap, I think Kyle forgot that there's always the possibility of something happening. And Kyle was under 3 seconds behind Manu, and the gap to Nerazuru between Manu and Nerazuru is 2.8 seconds. So I think Kyle's missed out on 6th place here, as the Racing Point's 5th and 6th. I see Racing Point very much as the Red Bull of the Torpedo League.
Yep.
Because they're not winning races, but they're getting podiums, and they're consistent. And that is what's crucial. But at the same time, Mercedes are the Mercedes of Torpedo League.
Yep.
And domination. And we don't really have a Ferrari. We've got the McLaren. We've got the sole McLaren driver of Colpagrosso, who's I'd say consistently near the front, but I'd say Kyle's probably more of a Ferrari. So I guess the Haas team would be Ferrari, because he's quick at some circuits, much less quick at others. As Mikis off in the middle sector and has now lost his position in the points to It's Just. I don't actually understand, why did he pit then? He's now lost his position to It's Just. He's lost a point, which of course isn't crucial for him to get points because he's not near the bottom of the standings. Although Codzilla, this will be crucial points for him. The field settling down now, no real close battles. C1, however, is on the back of Reese. C1's on the fresher, softer tyres as they're about to get lapped by Kyle. As you'd imagine, C1 would be quick to get out of the way of his teammate. Doesn't look like it. As you know, Car's just gonna drive straight through them. As they're now. As C1 has it to gain the position. Sorry, I missed that. It's just he was invisible because of Kyle.
Yep.
So C1 both got DRS again because of Kyle, and not able to do it. So we'd like to thank Kyle for making that battle disappear. Back to the front runners. Owen, would you like to quickly run us through the grid with 6 laps left?
So we have James up in first. To be honest, he is the Lewis Hamilton of Torpedo League.
Dominating.
Yep. Then we've got Corpo Grosso. I say he's a little Leclerc. He's got the talent to do it, but it's just that James is just so good, and he just doesn't make the mistakes that other people do, like others do. And Kyle, it has actually paid off for Kyle, getting a 106.9 for fastest lap. Anyway, Corpo, yeah, I think he is the Charles Leclerc here in this league.
Fairs, then. Who'd you say he is most like?
Fairs, I think he's like the Daniel Ricciardo.
That's actually a good shout. I would agree with that.
He is the underdog.
Yeah, he hasn't quite got the speed. Not necessarily like front. He's not quite got the pace to win the championship. Controversial for me to say Ricciardo doesn't have the pace to win a championship. But he didn't quite have the pace to win a championship. But he's got the pace to win a race. Rhyming then. What about Jarno? What do you think about Jarno?
Jarno, I think I'm not 100%. I think he could be the Vettel, you know. He does get those solid points, but it's just he might in Silverstone he spun, didn't he? If I can remember that.
Purely? Is that you're basing it off Silverstone when he spun?
No. He spun at Silverstone. He spun here to drop some positions, but he slowly got back up into the thingies ranking.
He's got the speed on a good day. He's got the speed to win races and maybe even a championship, but just something's missing. Just like Sebastian Vettel in real life. Back in the day, yeah, he was the guy, but now there's just something missing with Sebastian Vettel, and I feel like once Sebastian Vettel finds that in real life, he'll be back to his old form. And Jarno, I don't know what it is. His quality pace was decent, other than being crashed out. But there's something I don't know what it is. There's just a little tiny piece of the puzzle missing, which is holding him back from title contention. Now Manu, what do you think about Manu?
Manu, I'm not quite sure who he is. He could be
close with his teammate. I know that isn't really something to compare it with, but sort of close with your teammate.
He could be maybe the Bottas, maybe.
That's a good shout. Another good shout. Definitely, he's a good sort of consistent point scoring, but tends to be just off the back of the other top guys. Because of course Bottas in real life he's in the Mercedes, so he is at the front of the top guys. But if it was equal machinery, then that could be changed. As Kyle is in the pits again, has now lost the position to Codzilla. However, I imagine that's going to change. Nerazzurro could be a tricky one. I don't really know. I maybe an. Let me have a think through the grid.
We've got a message from
Colpo.
Forever Sin
Spin
saying,
for Colpo.
Is that?
And he's now lost third place. He's lost second place to Fairs. Colpo drops down. There, that is such a Leclerc move to make quite a rookie mistake.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. To be in a strong position, rookie mistake. I know Leclerc didn't really do that much, but if you watch back 2018 season, you'd see a lot more of those sort of rookie errors that Leclerc.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't really notice them, but I think he spun in Japan. He spun at Germany. He went very wide actually here in Austria in 2018. At this corner that Colpo's going through now, he went very wide there on the opening lap, lost a ton of positions. Yeah, back to Nerazzurro. I'm thinking he could be a. Who else is there in the top teams? Actually, let's go for real F1 drivers and let's make the drive. Who would they be as a driver?
Okay. Well, actually, just before that, I've got a comment from Forever Sin saying he would like this message being said out loud. This is just clarifying. This is from Forever Sin.
Yep.
I am sorry to any of the drivers I took out at the beginning. It was a stupid and reckless move that upset many people's races. So that's just an apology from.
I'm very glad that I was right. Forever Sin causing the lap 1 crash, so I'm happy with that. It was hard because the Taurus was side by side, so I tried to look at the timing tower to see which was ahead, and it did look like Forever Sin, but it was changing because they were side by side. Here's one for you. Who would you say is the Max Verstappen of this league? Immature, inconsistent, not necessarily anymore, but let's look back at, like, let's say 2017 Max Verstappen to 2018 Max Verstappen. Inconsistent can either be Kyle, and he's in the factory for this. Kyle.
Yeah.
He won 2 races this year with very good pace, incredibly good pace, but then the last few races he's been sort of behind the top guys in the midfield. Here's another driver to think about. Who else is there? Let's go for. I'm thinking about different teams. Here's a controversial one. Who would you say is the Roman Grosjean of the Torpedo League?
To be honest, I'd say the Visa Bunnies.
I would agree with that. Sort of all over the place.
Yeah.
That isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
But that's mainly because they'll be in F2 next season, so it definitely won't be a bad thing. Bad for us too, though, who will have to be racing against those guys in F2 next season. But no, I'm looking forward to new faces in that season. The race is... Sorry, we've missed the end of the race here.
Oh, no.
So, let's do it as if it's just happened. So, James... Actually, I'll do that again. Okay. Okay, this is to make my job in the highlights easier. James, with his 6th consecutive win in the Torpedo League for Mercedes and extending his championship lead. What a race and what a driver. Whilst everyone else was making mistakes, spinning, crashing, whatever, he stayed consistent, strong, and powered his way through.
Hit the wall. He's spun it. Oh no, he's lost the position as well. He's lost the position to Godzilla. He's spun it in the middle of Sector 2 and he's lost that position.
So Kyle has binned it on the final lap of the race.
Classic Kyle.
Yeah, yeah, classic Kyle. It's very much the Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
He can have a great race, he can have a terrible race. Either way, there's a chance he'll bin it at some stage.
Yeah.
So yes, what a race. What a qualifying, very good qualifying.
Yeah, it was amazing to be honest.
And by the way, just to clarify, I'm definitely going to keep Kyle binning it in the highlights. Usually I stop it after. Usually I stop the highlights as soon as James wins, because But that's why I asked to do the James thing again, because I wanted to make it easier. I need a bit of a gap before and after, so it's easier for me to get the right timing.
Yeah.
So that's why, because I started it too quick after saying, oh, let's just do it as if it's just happened. But yeah, because Kyle binned it whilst I was doing my James celebration, for many times I've done the James celebration now, but because he binned it whilst doing a James celebration, he will be included.
C1 just a comment. I'm probably Maldando, like destroying things. That's pretty true if I must say so myself, C1.
As James, out of the top 10, other than Branny, was there any other one to... Only 2 of them. Let's actually have a look at the entire field. Let's just see for penalties to come up again. Yep, Branny and James are only 2 to not get penalised. But I think we should introduce this to this race. We've been doing it sort of unofficially in previous ones. Who was your driver of the day?
Driver of the day, to be honest. I don't know, to be honest. It's like everyone's just been so good, kind of like the top 10 have just all been
just outstanding. Well, I'll give you a suggestion quickly. This may, because I want to look further through the field. And I would suggest Reese. I don't know. I didn't see much of his race, but 12th, only 2 places off points for one of the guys who is in the bottom 3 currently. I would say that's a good race. But the day one of the bottom 3 who currently haven't scored points actually score points, that will be the day their driver of the day.
Yeah.
Actually, Godzilla could be a shout. 7th place.
Yeah.
That's only his 2nd points position of the season. Let's see what the time is. Okay. So, I think it's time to wrap this up. I hope everyone enjoyed the race. So, next race will be around... What is next race? Is it Italy?
Could be.
I should check these. I should probably get this up before
Double
I say what's the next race. I can check now.
Next race is... Yes, Italy. Italy's the
Yes,
next
I should trust
race
my
in the
memory
night
more often.
round.
So, until next time in Italy, which will be next Wednesday at 7:30. Until next time. Goodbye.